This is No Agenda.
And so my ears perk up because you know how much I love going to whitehouse.gov and looking at
executive orders are always bad.
They're always very interesting. And he's kind of saying something like, is the timing of this, to show the foot.
Okay.
And then I just want to just listen to, because Gibbs continuously says the same thing. He's basically shut up slave. So just listen to his response briefly.
Republicans about government intervention and
government intervention. No, shut up, slave. What are you talking about? No. And I won't play, but he keeps on going, like, look, be quiet. And then they go into healthcare conversation. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, the healthcare thing is getting all the attention.
Of course. But amidst all, this is not even meant, it's off mic almost. So I'm like, okay. What?
Okay, I'll give you, let me get your score. Before I even hear this, I already know you're going to get a point on this one. I can tell.
Yeah.
Because of the build-up.
Yeah, I'm afraid you're right.
You always like to build a big foundation before you come up with your thing.
Yeah, well, and I waited for everything else this morning. Yeah, this is a pretty big one. So there is indeed an executive order, which is, I'm going to pull it all up here. I've got, it's under Shut Up Slave in the show notes for those of you following along. Improving regulation and regulatory overview, an executive order. Now, this is very interesting because this executive order is an amendment or really a change to the 1993 version of the order, which was put in place by Bill Clinton, which I think was 1269888, something like that. No real magic numbers there, kind of meant to fly under the radar. And this is all about the executive branch, the president, giving all agencies the power to do whatever they need to do to put regulation in place, however they feel fit. And so to go along with this, and this was released on the 18th, he put out an op-ed, an opinion editorial piece in the New York Times. Everyone copied it. I will just read a little bit from this. This is from his. So this is from the actual op-ed. I'm sorry. I think maybe it was Wall Street Journal. Maybe it wasn't New York Times. It was Wall Street Journal. So fine, Murdoch.
And this was written by.
By Valerie Jarrett, probably.
But I mean, it's whose byline by Obama?
No. Obama wrote it.
Yeah, okay, so it's a byline of my. When did the president start writing op-eds?
He's done a couple. No, I got to tell you, he's done a couple. He did one in 2008, 2007. I found one. He's done a couple. He has done a couple. But now listen to this. So essentially, he writes this. He doesn't. This is executive order, very complicated language, and I really struggled through it. But I found some things that I want to point out. But he wrote the simple version for the slaves. Hello, slaves. Here it is. Where necessary, we won't shy away from addressing obvious gaps. New safety rules for infant formula, procedures to stop preventable infections in hospitals, efforts to target chronic violators of workplace safety laws. But we are also making it our mission to root out regulations that conflict, that are not worth the cost, or are just plain dumb. Interesting language for a president. And then he gives us an example. For instance, the FDA has long considered saccharin, the artificial sweetener, safe for people to consume. Yet for years, the EPA made companies treat saccharin like other dangerous chemicals. Well, if it goes in your coffee, it is not hazardous waste. The EPA wisely eliminated this rule last month. That's some science for you, isn't it? If it goes in your coffee, it can't be dangerous. And I'm like, wow. What? So, okay. I'm like, right. So who is in charge of this? So you go and you read. Yeah, thank you. I needed a little laugh there. You go and you read the Improving Regulation and Regulatory Overview Executive Order. And so there's some interesting things in here. Science, consistent with the president's memorandum for the heads of executive departments and agencies, scientific integrity and its implementing guidance, each agency shall ensure the objective of any scientific and technological information and processes used to support the agency's regulatory actions. So the way I understand this is we're going to use science, i.e., if you put it in your coffee, it can't be bad for you. That kind of science is going to be used to create new regulations. And the EPA, the FDA, everybody gets to now do whatever they want. All they have to do is post it on the internet, at regulations.gov. So here it is, to the extent feasible and permitted by law. So, of course, if it's not permitted by law, we won't do it. Each agency shall afford the public a meaningful opportunity to comment through the internets on any proposed regulation, with a comment period that should generally, words matter, be at least 60 days. Just like the 5 days that the bills are going to get posted online, that lie that we already had. To the extent feasible and permitted by law, each agency shall provide for both proposed and final rules timely, words matter, online access to the rulemaking docket on regulations.gov. So I'm like, okay, so who's in charge of all of this? Well, the executive order, the division of government in charge of this is OMB, which is the Oversight Management something or other. What is it?
I thought it was always the Office of Management and Budget.
Yeah, that's what it is. Office of Management and Budget. And specifically at the Office of Management and Budget, it is the Regulation and Information Policy Office. Who is in charge of the Regulation and Information Policy Office? John. This is the Adam Asked John a question.
I have no idea.
Cass Sunstein.
Oh, how about that? Oh, Glenn Beck's buddy.
Yes, so Cass, this is great. So by the way, he's married to this hot chick, who is now a special assistant to the president. Remember the woman on the Obama campaign who said Hillary Clinton was an asshole because she was like crying, and she got fired for it?
Yeah, I remember that vaguely.
Right. Well, she's rehired, and she's 20 years younger than he is, and she's in charge of communication.
Yeah, Sunstein, I always look at him. He looks like just the most fart-like old professor. Bald.
Well, she did a White House. She's in charge of selling
Is this
selling
Samantha
stuff.
Power?
Yes, and she's in charge of selling stuff. She's hottie. She's good. So anyway,
What's she like this guy must have something going on, if you know what I'm saying.
Power? Are you kidding me? Power.
No, I'm talking about
power.
No, he's got a schwanz the size of Milton Burrows. Come on, that's what it is.
They met in 2008. 4 months later, they were married. This is a power grab. 4 months they were married.
Well, her name's Power.
Exactly. So anyway, I'm like, okay, so it's just going to be like baby formula and stuff like that. Well, human resources of the No Agenda show, please go to the reginfo.gov dashboard, which, by the way, half of the dashboard has broken links. Great job, Vivek. Way to work.
Yeah,
and then,
genius.
Yeah, he's such a genius.
We got the binary and the COBOL.
step logic.
Skip logic.
So, Executive Order 12866 directs agencies to following certain principles and rulemaking, such as consider blah, 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 blah. So then you just say, okay, show me all executive order submissions under review, and you can do it by department, or you just do all. Oh, my God. Just look at the stuff that has been in there for the past 30 days. This is not just your baby formula. Yes, it's in there. But how about labeling of single ingredient products for ground or chopped meat and poultry products? How about environmental quality incentives programs? How about farm and ranch lands protection program? How about the wetlands reserve program? How about biorefinery assistance program? How about U.S.-India bilateral understanding? Certification of nations whose fishing vessels are engaged in illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, which is piracy. Identification of critical safety systems. Congress is no longer necessary. Go home. Attention, members of Congress, you can go home. We have everything under control.